is Hex on PulseChain, which is a new chart since PulseChain forked in May 23. So the top of this chart is about 3 cents. And I'll zoom out for you. And this is the kind of action that we're getting in the last few days. It's been absolutely glorious, and it's just breaking through everything. And this is a very nice candle that's formed today.
I was on X, I think yesterday, and I saw something from the comptroller of the currency, and they had announced that all U.S. banks can buy, sell, and do custody for their own customers, all in the U.S.
That's fantastic.
I think that's probably where a lot of this pump might be coming from, is because of that statement that was just announced.
No, that's absolutely brilliant.
I like it.
Yeah, that's what we need. And I was even telling my art class, like I feel like I'm less at risk. Like a few years ago when I was doing crypto streaming, like, and I still do hide my streams from my work colleagues because it's not, the two worlds just don't merge, right? There's not much crossover, and it's very conservative. My workplace is very conservative, so it's separate. But as in America, the culture, crypto is getting a lot more legitimate and entering into the banking system. It really is like making me feel much more legitimate in being involved in crypto, which is good, because when it comes to having an opportunity for generational wealth, you're not going to get it, in my opinion, elsewhere. Not to say there's not other products that are useful, like real estate, to preserve wealth, or to use it as a leverage loan, or things like that, and to feel secure. But if you really want price action, this is where you need to be. So let's say hi to the chat, and then we've got some videos lined up from Richard from his video that he made for the community. So first up, we've got Not Goo God. Welcome. Crypto 7 is in the chat. Fun fact: Fast and Briz refuse to stream unless
True.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry that I didn't put you guys on the thumbnail. I feel like that was discrimination, and I apologize. Kryptonite is here. Tam, thank you for saying lovely things about the stream and helping to promote it beforehand. I appreciate that. We've got Tarnwig in the chat. Fast Abdul's in there, making sure that everybody is not too feral. My chat's usually pretty nice. Drix is there. Duke of Booze is there. Who else we got? We got people coming through. We've got DJ Hexagon. Crypto Styles is in there. Academaciated. Oh, totally nailed that today. Hex Glenn is there. 43 OG in the house. How's it going? He's a Chad absolute champion. 43 OG, Aussie legend there. He is an OG streamer from Australia. DeFi Down Under is where you might catch 43 OG still. So team, I've got some videos lined up of our founder, Richard Hart, and this was the most bullish thing he said, in my opinion.
$1,800 Ethereum sucks, especially when gold's at all-time highs, Bitcoin's nearing all-time highs again. Do I think it'll get back up? Yep, I do, especially if institutions are buying, which they are. You know, how many ETFs are there out there right now? Bitcoin, Ethereum. Those are the two large ones. So if your thesis is that institutions are going to be the guys that are buying, well, it's nice to have an ETF. Now, that being said, Ethereum and Bitcoin did really, really well before they had ETFs, when they had lower market caps, right? So take, for instance, the liquidity that you see in PulseChain, PulseXX. You know, you could get a God candle at any moment. You could get a giant green candle at any moment, because it's easier to get them, because it takes less economic energy, because there's less of it for sale. You know, PulseChain has less inflation than both Ethereum and Hex and Bitcoin. But what has even less inflation than PulseChain is PulseX. PulseX has deflation. There's less PulseX now than there's ever been. And for the rest of time, there will always be less PulseX than there's ever been, because it only burns and it can never inflate.
When he said that about the God candle, I was like, oh my God, Richard, you are reading my mind. I've been waiting for that candle. You know, that candle where it just hops and the traders get wrecked? Because you can make money trading, right? Like, you know, the price is really low and wrecked, and you buy and then you just sell, and it just hits like a 1 or 2x from that point, and then rinse and repeat. And so when you get that God candle and you've hopped, all those people that are trading and selling and buying at the lows and basically keeping it locked low get absolutely ruined. And then now their new price point becomes at the hopped level. So the God candle for me is something that rewards people that have been DCAing for a long time. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This price action, I think, will continue. You guys remember Hex on Ethereum last cycle, and the green candles, there was a point where the green candles just kept coming. And it was really odd because it was like I was very new to Hex. So I didn't really know about the community. I was just very new. And I would finish like a gym session or whatever in the park, and then I'd be walking back to my car, and then my husband would always call me and be like, "Oh, it's up again." I'd be like, "What?" And then we kept on like selling and taking profit, and like this cycle kept continuing until eventually I was like, "You know what? Why do we keep selling the thing that keeps going up?" And he's like, "Yeah, good point." And then we learned to hold. It was just like quite a process to learn to hold for a long time. So there's a lot of stop starts that happened for probably years, but yeah, the God candle. Oof, I can't. Yeah, it's going to be. It's renewed my faith that this cycle could actually be pretty epic.
I think it's going to be epic. You know, one of the things that Richard said that kind of struck me is that the coast is clear for greatness. He said that, and I was like, oh man, that's like, come on, let's go.
Oh, absolutely. We got to get into this SEC stuff. Wild SJ, what was your take on Richard's video?
So I watched it twice, and I'm glad I did, because the first time I watched it, I was driving. So I was listening mostly. And then last night I watched it on my laptop and, full screen, and the look in his eyes and his expressions and the way that he is just exuding confidence, I'm in love. I just was so stoked to see him being like that. And like him, he said it twice now that he's prepared all his life for this. And I don't doubt that for us. I mean, I've like, y'all know positivity princess over here. I've not doubted for a moment. Just the reaffirmation, right, of like what we've known and what we've hoped for, hearing it. And I've sent his stream to a few people that know me, like family members and stuff like that. They're not in the community, right? They are looking in from the outside, and I'm just like, I just want to know your opinion, like, because he says so many things that to me, like, we're here and we've been in this and we've heard all this and we know what he's talking about, right? But I feel like it's just really epic what's about to happen and what is happening and what Hex, Pulse, and PulseX have now with their regulatory clarity. Like, the fact that we hold those coins and that's what has been decided upon as good and well in the world. It is just my heart. I'm just all aflutter.
Oh,
SJ, can I second that? Like when I saw the video first, like Richard's skin looked different. Like it was like a different color. Like he had a whole different, he looked like he lost weight. He had the black t-shirt on. And I was like, this dude has been through something. And that something is probably almost like life-changing. And this is a guy that was ready before, years ago. But I think what he went through just made him better and stronger and more determined to win. That's what I got from the video, other than, obviously we can go into the details of the content, which I thought that was, he was really focused also on the message that he wanted to deliver. And I almost liked that it wasn't a live stream because he didn't get distracted by the riffraff and all the haters. He could just focus on the points that he wanted to make because he had so much to say for being away for so long.
absolutely. Fast Abdul, what did you think?
I thought he looked pretty good. Generally speaking, mostly just 2 years older to me. He looked healthy. He looked, he had some color in his cheeks, which is great. The feel of the video was the more important thing to me. Like he felt really confident, right? Like he felt really optimistic. And I think that's probably what people picked up from it. It seemed very positive. It's had 500,000 views on Twitter or something now. We're going to get traction every time he makes a video like that. Hopefully someday soon where he does live streams, it'll be amplified from that point.
Absolutely. Lindsay, I'm interested in your thoughts. Did you have a favorite part?
My total sweep. I'm a bad Hexcan, honestly. I've just been so busy outside and with the kids.
No, that's
I've
good.
not had the pleasure of sitting in one place to listen to it all the way through. So long story short, my synopsis of all of this is that public schools will never, ever teach about Richard Hart. ever, because of what he's done. And that is like the best thing. And I mean that in a really good way, because in America, public education is federally funded. So it's very centralized and limited as to what they actually teach the children in America. Like a lot of history has been like completely wiped and distorted. So Richard will never be taught in public schools because he is also a groundbreaker. He's like he is a founding father in crypto. You know, he's like Big Daddy out there. What's up, Big Daddy?
Absolutely. I can see Fast Abdul's got this thing in the chat. What's that last thing in the chat there, Fast Abdul? Should I click on it? That's the imprinter. Yeah, we'll go through that.
Crypto Rand was played part of Richard's clip and talked about him. Said Richard's back, right? And it was pretty big, actually. So I reposted that on Twitter.
Yeah, I got it here for sure. Awesome. I got to share the tab so that you can actually hear it.
Let's be serious. He missed us.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
He missed us. I don't think he missed us too. Like,
I have a point much to make on that when we're after this.
Hicks, I think I saw Richard Hart.
Sorry, team. Keep chatting and I'll have this ready for you.
So maybe I'll just make the point real quick. There's a moment in the stream where you can see him all of a sudden be like he's trying to figure out what to talk about, and then he's like I can't do more videos like this or something, and you just see him, his mind is racing, and then all of a sudden he says he basically is like comments on our comments, and he's like, how are you guys doing? You know, I see you silently giving me praise in the chat, something along those lines. And that moment to me is, I think, the most endearing moment in the entire thing, because you see his humor. Like, he's such a great speaker, but you see him all of a sudden have that moment of panic, and his mind goes to, you know, how are we doing and what's going on with us? And he, again, Lindsay, you can tell he misses us. He misses that interaction. So that I wanted to call that out.
I think he misses the live stream, and no doubt he will be back for that. Let's see what Crypto Randman.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but the reason why Pulse is probably going up is because it seems like Richard Hart is back. I think I actually listened to his stream this morning. You know, I listened to everything.
Hey, Richard Hart here. Guess who just beat the SEC in court and did not settle and did not have their case dropped? This guy, me. I did that. And you know why I did that? Well, 1, I'm innocent. 2, I've got great lawyers. 3, the government decided to bring a really stupid case against a really honest person. And guess what happened? The judge saw through it and dismissed the case in its entirety, something that almost no other cryptocurrency has ever achieved. They didn't just charge me. They charged me, Hex, PulseChain, PulseX. They actually charged software as a defendant. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine math that you can run at home and execute on your own?
So Richard Hart is back, and that's why Pulse and Hex are actually moving.
Oh, that is epic. The fact
that epic brush off. What a dick. Ran, you. Hey. Ran, you're a stinker.
He's the only one talking about us, so I'm going to give him some love and say thank you for talking about us. Oh, look, there's calls. Sorry, go ahead.
Be fair, Rand. Come on, you got to give them. Come on, give that man some credit. Won't kill you. We'll catch it. He's
opted to have Richard on his stream. So appreciate that. There's calls for Richard to be on Joe Rogan. There's a very popular guy with 500,000 followers that has agreed to have a video with Richard. I'm going to pull up remove that. I'm going to pull up my bookmarks because I've got some important things to say about the SEC. We've got regulatory clarity, which is really important.
It's huge. One of very few cryptocurrencies with regulatory clarity, more than Ethereum has.
Absolutely.
Access the safe buy. PulseChain's the safe chain legally.
It would have been funnier if Richard had listed, for 1, I have great lawyers, and for 2, I'm innocent. If he would have listed it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, Hexo posted this, and I can't stop watching. Hex host of it. So Hex influencers are coming out of hibernation. Absolutely, there'll be no need for me soon. Which is, it's been a pleasure to stream it in the bear market for sure. At some point, I will stop. I'm enjoying myself though, so we keep going. But this guy had an incredible amount of hair, and then look at him go. He's getting his Chad hairstyle. That's cool. And our streamers are going to come out of the woodwork.
How much hair did they glue to him first?
Yeah, because if he I think it's staged as well, Briz. And do you know why? I'm just giving you my conspiracy theory. If he is a homeless gentleman, he wouldn't be able to sit still like that. Like, he has a very composed disposition. And I don't want to make generalizations, but this is not the persona of a homeless person. I've met many homeless people.
That's a very well-fed homeless person. Let's be serious.
Yeah, exactly. So Motley Investor, he has this post about the regulatory clarity. So this is the document. So this can be found on Court Listener, and it was dated April the 21st. And dear Judge Amon, this is on behalf of the SEC. On February the 28th, the court dismissed the Commission's complaint, granting leave to file an amended complaint by March 20th. On March 17th, the court extended the SEC's deadline to file an amended complaint until today, April 21st. Basically, the SEC provides this notice that it does not intend to file an amended complaint. So Richard actually beat the SEC. So there was no grounds for jurisdiction. But not only that, the judge basically said in more legal terms that their arguments were incredibly poor. And they would have to make a new case, which they did not. And this post from Rackham is a really excellent post in regards to regulatory clarity. So just so everyone is clear, PulseChain is an elite layer 1 blockchain with a clear mandate to expand after its recent victory over the SEC. We are one of the only networks that the general public can take comfort in knowing that the founder code and legal standing were vetted rigorously by the federal government. 99% of the tokens listed on various crypto exchanges actually cannot claim that at all. They have to go through fire alone to earn it. PulseChain is now the new standard. We earned it. The exchanges have an ethical responsibility to vet all of these other tokens and companies now by the standard we were held to, do they not? I would think the exchanges would race to add PulseChain to show solidarity with the court's opinion, or am I being unreasonable? All this in addition to the original audits conducted at the direction of Richard Hart. Therefore, other networks and tokens could experience litigation at any time, and they should no longer be considered safe, even under the Trump administration. Not all of the other tokens and networks will be able to withstand the SEC's onslaught. Maybe their legal team's prowess will lack, and they simply lose to the SEC. Study all the previous SEC enforcements. That is all I'm saying. There is no guarantee that the federal government will remain hands-off in the near future. No one knows if the post-Trump administration will show favorable treatment to the industry. There's only 3 crypto coins in the world that won an SEC lawsuit. Understand? PLS, PLSX, Hex, and Inc. are now completely legal, hot commodities. Start treating them as such.
Not Inc.
Oh, not Inc. Inc was never in the firing line, was it?
Inc was never listed in the complaint.
Inc was always. So how do you feel about Papa Richie, your crypto founder daddy, not mentioning Inc in his video?
Oh, that's no big deal. We all know that Inc is a vital, important part to the whole RH ecosystem. So I think it's going to do just fine. You know, like I said, I posted it. I did a Inc segment on Richard Hart Mack's conference, and I did the math, and $5 Inc brings back 40% APRs. So
there we go.
Wow.
Do we really even need a higher than a $5 Inc? I mean, 40% APR is 40% APR, right?
The all-time high is around $80. So I think if we could get $80 instead of $5, that would make it even more interesting.
I'd be very happy with $80 Inc.
Absolutely. So Fast Abdul, tell us.
Stranger things have happened. It has the lowest liquidity of all those tokens.
And he cut down the inflation.
Ink Printer's doing great. Yeah, I liked Ink so much.
Yeah, tell me about Ink Printer. What is going on?
What's that about
there?
inflation? Ink Printer's going great. So it's a liquidity fork, so a stable coin that uses ink as collateral. There's 2.83 million ink worth $4.6 million locked in it right now. The stablecoin is working very well. It's currently 99.67 cents per stablecoin, which is right about where it's supposed to be. And the chart's looking up. It's the highest price reward token of any of the liquidity forks. So Liquid Loans, Earn, Flex, Pulse on the PulseChain, and the APRs are pretty decent. Like our farms are paying anywhere between 24% for single-sided staking of a stablecoin to on 2Fucks, the Ink Printer farm is paying over 300% APR, I believe. So far so good.
That's
good.
amazing.
Thank you for, thanks for providing these opportunities on PulseChain. So there are different yield opportunities. We've done streams before on yield opportunities. There's farms on PulseX, and Ink Printer is, like you said, a fork of Liquidity and doing very well. So thank you, sir. Shout out to RH Max, who put on a whole conference for everybody. Thank you so much. I tuned into some of the conference, and it was really good. I enjoyed watching the different people that I see individually stream come together and then stream together. And I thought that was really wonderful. Richard gave the conference as well a shout out. That was really cool. And I think it went really well. And I hope he continues in the future, although it must be a lot of work. So who knows? Did anyone go on? I think Briz, you were on. You had a segment. Fast Abdul, I saw you there. SJ, did you go on?
SJ was on. I saw SJ's segment.
Yeah, a few times.
Oh, awesome. I'll have to rewind. So thanks, RH Max, for that.
He just announced that he's going to do a PulseX conference soon as well.
Right.
So there'll be a PulseX-centric conference hosted by RH Max. And then Matty Allen's conference is coming up again in June as well, too. So Hex and PulseChain and PulseX conferences, we're going to have like 10 conferences a year.
Woo.
I hope I get to do a PLSX in 15 minutes or less segment.
That would be cool, Briz. And I found this picture when I was going through Crypto Stylist Twitter, and I really like it. Can you talk us through, Crypto Stylist, what is going on here?
That's in Paris. It was 4 years ago, and we were in the Philippe Plein store shopping.
That's
shopping. Cool. Richard likes to shop.
I really like his shoes.
Yeah, so I was taking pictures of the stuff that he liked, and he was showing me the things that he liked, and then I caught that. I wasn't trying to take a picture of us. He just got caught in the photo, so the reflection, and so I posted it because I thought it was just an interesting, not so obvious posing kind of photo. And he was like telling me what he liked and why, and it was fun.
Oh, that's awesome. So we've got a lot to get through here. We might rapid fire some of this cool stuff. There's lots of cool stuff that's happened this week. So Ethereum had a Pectra update, and the price of Ethereum is doing very well, which is very bullish for us because some of the SAC funds are tied up in Ethereum. So we like to sort of keep an eye on that because it makes us feel good on the inside, and I'm sure it makes Richard feel good. But does anyone have anything to say about the Pectra update for Ethereum?
I think it's bullish for Ethereum because it enables institutional investors to participate in a different way. It increases the amount of ETH that can be used in a staking contract from 32 to 2,048, which is $3.5 million worth of Ethereum or something. So that means that like an ETF or something like that wants to run validators on Ethereum doesn't have to do it in little pools of 32. They can do it in one giant pool of 2,048, enabling them to roll millions of dollars into Ethereum to get steady gains running validators. So I think that's a prelude to basically like a huge corporate push towards institutions buying Ethereum.
Nice.
Yeah, they're about to hit the go button on CBDCs.
Cool. So there's something about the EIP 1559. So it burns Ethereum with every transaction. So ETH has now become deflationary. And in addition to that, They used to pay block rewards to validators, but now they just charge a transaction fee, so there's less inflation. So overall, ETH is becoming deflationary, which is an epic step for Ethereum. So everyone thought that Ethereum was dead this cycle. Well, they were wrong, and Vitalik has turned it around super fast. And this price action is extraordinary from Ethereum. So thank you, Vitalik, for the Pectra update. That's hats off to you, sir, on that. That is, we weren't expecting it to be so effective, and it has been. So thank you. So we're going to go back to a couple of things from Richard Hart's video. And this is, I think, what the community is doing since the video. Oh my God, it's happening. Be cool. I'm cool. I don't know. Are you cool? No, we're all not cool. We're just like, it's happening. Oh, imagine what we get like in the hyperbull. Oh gosh. So shout out here to Hex Toys Official, who is giving away this Chad replica of Richard Hart here. That's really cool. I really love this stuff. Anyway, I'll put my name up to try and win, but I don't think I won. Who knows? I bring this one back. Hodpearl, who's a regular on this show, made this amazing marketing picture, and she actually went to the effort of making this PulseChain, can here for marketing as well. So that was really sweet. So when it comes to marketing, Rackham is really trying to help us out here, guys. So he's going to do this whole marketing campaign. He's organizing that. He's got this guy with over 500,000 followers, Mr. Colin Noir. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, who has agreed to stream with Richard. So thanks, Rackham, for doing all of that. That's really quite epic. In addition, Rackham has offered, I think, to pay for an exchange listing with Kraken, I believe. I hope I got that exchange right.
Can you see how many followers Colin has?
Yeah, I'll click onto his
right there.
So Hexagons, give this guy a follow. So he's got 2.9 million on YouTube. He's obviously from America. He's a gun advocate. You can see here that he lives in Texas. He's got 555, used to be 0.5 thousand followers.
Nice.
On Twitter. So that's fairly epic to get an interview with someone of his standing. So
he's an attorney too, so he's educated, smart.
Oh wow, far out. God, I've got a video from Richard that talks about. Let's have a look here. Which one do we want to do? Oh, let's do this one.
So we got great news. We've got regulatory certainty that almost no other coin has. If people don't start doing nice things for us, working with us, listing, etc., I wouldn't be surprised to see people just start up competitors. The regulatory environment's never been nicer.
So that was a really cool little, I think he basically inferred that if we don't get exchange listings, we will basically start up competition, which I thought that was really cool. There has been some talk that exchanges are looking to list PulseChain. And I mean, we've been listed before, and the exchange that listed us before was OKX. They used to list PLS. And then when the SEC came along, OKX didn't list PLS anymore. And now that the SEC is gone, will they be the first one? I suppose we're all waiting to see who will be first.
I think we're looking for a big one though, like the top 5, which OKX would not be in that list. But like Kraken, Coinbase, that kind of thing, Binance, or top 3, like one of those big 3 is what we really need. And if Rackham's willing to pay to get us on Kraken, and Kraken will pick up that ball, that would be a huge win, way bigger than you could be on OKX, MEXC, like a dozen of the little ones, and it wouldn't hold a candle to something like Kraken, right? So that'd be huge.
It's gonna be a big
eyes. Marketing is marketing.
It's gonna in front of them. It'll be a big milestone for PulseChain to get that listing for sure. All right, team. So Richard Hart did mention that we have a little bit of gap in marketing on PulseChain. I wanted to throw it out to you guys. How you think we can address that gap?
Well, I think that the regulatory certainty, which we're one of very few projects that done crypto that have that badge, is almost like a verified. That's a huge way to, I think, marketing point, for people who don't know about and might have heard, the negative things or look at it as too risky. because I'm currently onboarding people, and what I try to convince them is like, okay, great, take a little Bitcoin, do a little ETH, you know, some of the quote unquote blue chips, but then put 10% in this, okay, super risky project, which has, you know, regulatory clarity now. And, you know, because it's not many, I mean, the XRP community, really, they really wear that as a badge of honor, and they use it a lot. They talk, that's a big talking point for them in onboarding and in their content. So I think that we need to do the same, because it's really a positive thing. And it's also very few projects in crypto can actually say that.
It's such a good way to onboard now, that we have won against the SEC and we have that clarity and more clarity than other coins. And the fact that exchanges still haven't listed us just shows their personal bias, and is just, it's a little bit unbelievable, really. Shout out to Crypto7, who has been streaming all throughout the bear market.
Yeah.
And he says that we need to pivot our messaging to new people. I find this one of the most difficult things to do. If I go to like a work function, somebody will say maybe something about crypto, and I feel like medicine in general, I will say doctors in general, and I am one, so I can talk about them. They're not too comfortable with talking about their investments, and the extremely conservative group. And in terms of financial knowledge, they are surprisingly lacking. For example, their tax return, they have no idea, most of them, how to do a tax return. Some of them are really good in business and they go down that line, and they're actually excellent business people because they run their own practice and they employ people. But beyond that, most doctors will be into real estate, but they don't really have that concept that their income is not an investment. That kind of overall theory, like financial theory, is kind of lacking. So if they do talk to me about cryptocurrency, I really have to gauge the person. Is this person actually somebody that would have the capability or is actually interested in going down the line to learn about it, or are they just trying to make conversation?
Class, I would ask that you don't make doctors rich, because I want them to keep working. I don't want them to be like financially free. I want them to have a bunch of debt. I want them to have a big house with
most of them,
big
95%
mortgage.
do, Briz. Like, you'll be
Especially
happy
like
to know.
brain surgeons. Don't get brain
There's this
surgeons
competition
rich.
with like what kind of car and house you have. So there's a lot of debt, and you'll be happy to know that they're working for as long as any other profession to repay that debt.
I mean, let me tell you, I come from a family of doctors, and they're the worst business people on the planet. Like, they're horrible with money. So,
they don't know how to.
I think you don't have to worry.
I used to do a talk on how to do a tax return, like during work hours, because people have no idea. They think that going to a tax accountant, that is your tax return. They do no work like behind the scenes to improve anyway. But in talking about onboarding, I think we as a community need to figure out what our culture is, what our messaging is, and to make this a smoother process. For me, the number one thing that could happen is that Phantom enables bridging into PulseChain from Solana to PulseChain. And people always think, oh, you know, but we have Rabi, or we have MetaMask, or we have, you know, internet money, and we do, and they're fantastic. But a lot of the new money that will come in will be from the 25 to 35-year-old male kind of group. And these people are into meme coins, and they're going to pour money into Solana and Solana meme coins. And they need to be able to bridge to PulseChain from a wallet that they're already familiar with. So I don't know how to, I really feel like that is one of the keystones to unlocking onboarding, is for Phantom to integrate us. And I do tag them a lot, but I haven't been quite effective. So if anyone listening has any contacts at Phantom and can make that happen, that would be really important for us.
Hey, class, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to actually get going.
Oh, no props, Chris.
I'm sorry. I only have about 45 minutes with you. But thank you for having me on here. It was great seeing everybody else.
Thanks for being here.
And I'll make it to your next one. All right.
No dramas. Thanks for
All
coming.
Right. Thank you. Bye, guys. Have fun.
Bye, Bruce.
Bye, Press.
Hey, Bruce. All right, team. We might just rip through some of these other bookmarks, and then we'll throw it back to you guys and see if there's anything else that you want to talk about. So SJ, you do a lot of onboarding, and what do you think are some of the messages that stick for people that you talk to?
A lot of the questions that I get and the hesitance is that people just wonder, where does the dollar go? Where the money that I put in, like what happens to it? So the best way I've found to explain it is that it's nearly like exchanging a dollar for a euro. It's just another form of currency, except in this case, you know, if it was a stable coin, right, that'd be true, right? So you're exchanging a dollar for a dollar in stable. Well, if you're exchanging $1 for, you know, however many tokens, there's the aspect behind that if they can go up or down. So your dollar may multiply or it may decrease. It's getting over those little like misunderstandings, assumptions, the what's the word I'm looking for? Just you know, like people don't understand like
the theory. They don't understand the building blocks of decentralized finance.
Yeah,
people understand basic fundamental financial literacy. Period. Like 90% of people out there don't even know what I just said. Insane.
Yeah.
It's true. People don't understand inflation. They don't understand what self-custody is or real DeFi is. A lot of coins and communities claim that they're real DeFi, but they don't self-custody. And we know the dangers of exchanges, and we see that in the media play out. And you even hear from your friends that have lost, money because they held their money on centralized exchanges. So I think there's a lot of the question that I get is what's behind it, like what's backing it, and there's nothing. Everything is a narrative, right? But that's true of
exactly what I was going to bring up too, is when they bring up the whole, well, like I go into like, well, if you went into your bank and asked for all the money in your bank account out, and then 100 other people did the same thing, you think they're going to all walk away with that cash? No, your money is on a screen these days.
There's a few very important concepts, and one is that crypto is permissionless. So if you have a whole heap of money in a bank and you want to get that whole heap of money out right now, you can't just go into the bank and get that whole heap of money out. You might have to make an appointment. They'll make you sign a bit of paper. You have to explain to the other person why you want your money, and then they may or may not give you permission to access that money. And the idea of cryptocurrency is that you've cut out the middleman, and so it's permissionless. It's your money and you've self-custodied it. And on the exchange, if you held your money on an exchange, you still are asking for permission, because that exchange, there's no guarantee that they've held your crypto. They could have used it and they've traded it, and that money does no longer exist. It's not backed. So if there's a run on the exchange, you might not get your money back, which happens not infrequently. So it's a permissionless. Real DeFi is being permissionless. You're self-custodying the own keys to your wallet, and that's why we like it.
Watch the new narratives that come up as we roll out over the next few years. Watch the ones that brand themselves to be the bank on the Web3 banks. Those are the really interesting ones to watch, I think. Not the on and off ramps, but the ones that consider them to be the interesting. Where's that?
All right, team, I'm gonna wrap it up soon, but I just want to play perhaps one more video from Richard.
Bitcoin's price better than almost any other price in crypto. It started the lowest, went the highest. But when I called the top many years ago, 65K, now it's 95K. You're up 50%. After a dip to 14K or 17K, went from 65 to 17. I mean, I don't know, man. Are you able to retire your family and create generational wealth off of a 1.5x? Probably not. So while Bitcoin is great and they've got the most awareness and they've got the most marketing, it is not good technology. Well, should I say it's not good? It is good technology, but it is slow, expensive, and has very few features. And it's bad for the environment. No, you didn't say it was bad for the environment. Yeah, it's bad for the environment. You don't have to nuke the environment to maintain a consensus network. There's tons and tons of networks out there maintaining consensus just fine that aren't nuking the environment. PulseChain is one of them.
So he makes a really good point. There are other cryptos out there that might be safer, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, where the downside is not as great, but also the upside is not as great. And if you do want to create generational wealth, most people aren't looking for like a 1.5x. They're looking for more. And I think PulseChain offers that. And I've always been quite adamant that that's the place to go. I mean, Hex on PulseChain. And the reason that I give is that Hex on Ethereum did a 10,000x because after Ethereum topped, the gains from the OA SAC fund were rotated into Hex. And then the Hex price absolutely exploded. And people think it can't happen again, or they're just not willing to concede because of their own personal bias that it could happen. There's $300 million that was sacrificed for PulseChain that's currently being held in Ethereum. And each time Ethereum clicks up, that $300 million also clicks up. And Richard has been known to call the top for Ethereum. And at that point, I think our hyperbull starts. Our pre-hyperbull is what I would call the phase in that we're in now, where I believe that we've bottomed and we're starting to ratchet up and we're starting to catch people unawares. And this is a time when the new streamers will come back and be like, oh, okay, it's back on. And then suddenly you'll see a whole lot more people on Twitter that you've not seen in probably years. So it's a really
come back. Jim Rat Crypto started up the show again. Crypto in the morning.
Absolutely, it's good to see him.
I was like, oh, he's back. Okay, all right. This is the beginning. I know my first the exit signal now, and I know the first of the we're back signals because I've seen them a couple times or other couples. Like, once you've been in this community long enough, and I mean, like, either through streams or Twitter, in-person events. Like, in-person events, guys, are the most important thing. Bring your friends to this like crypto party. Don't give them a whole line of nonsense if they don't understand the basic fundamentals of, like, you know, balancing their checkbook and you know, taking care of the goods. Like, don't push, you know, they like just give them a cash app and have them pay that way. Like, encourage them to pay in crypto to like get you a drink or whatever, something on your way to like this crypto party that you're going to, because that's what it really truly ends up being. Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack that. We're thinking marketing here and like bringing some excitement into the community. And
it's a good point. Like, we got to have like little exciting trinkets. Like, Maddie Allen had the gold coin, which I got to try and figure out how to get some of those. Because how cool is that? Like, if you meet someone at a party and you think that they're loaded, and then you give them like a gold coin that has crypto on it, or you're trying to make connections out there. If people get free money, they're not going to say no.
I'm telling you right now, I work with very affluent individuals, very lucky, and if you give them a trinket, they're gonna be like they do not want that stuff in their house. Like, no. However, if you give them something useful with, like, I don't know, put something on something and have it so they could put it in their pocket, carry it around with them like a business card. And it's interesting, and it's, you know, has flashy branding on it, or like simple those metallic business cards that Rochelle Private Equity gave out. And Brian's hats, like those things, those tangible items, like, hey bro, I got a hat for you, it's golf season, like, keep a couple in your golf bag, let's eat, there you go. Those are so fun. Can you zip up the brim for everybody to see like the details on these hats? They're just like, hats off to Brian.
Wow,
makers,
that is cool.
They're stunners.
So who's making this hat?
No,
Brian McGruber, he goes by.
Cool.
He's out of Vegas, and he came to like the PLS 369 golf event and just started giving out like dozens of these hats to everybody who was there. I have several different models. They're fantastic. Check out this guy.
Wow, nice. They're cool.
I really like it.
To look him up.
Brian, I don't have the updated collection.
Like with Hex. Awesome hats.
Clad, can we go up the prices? Let's look at the price.
Yeah. Let's do it. You want to go to Deck Screener, Go Pulse, or
whatever? Maybe
go
Pulse. I don't know.
Yeah, cool.
I've obsessed with crypto bubbles lately. I just love them.
Yeah. So the price action is looking like, even since we started streaming, I swear that this is
it's gone up.
Yeah, it has. It's gone up at least 5% since we've been streaming.
So
yesterday. Oh, of course. Yeah. You guys are welcome. So yesterday, like, Hex was 0.7 of a penny. It was in that range. And the day before it was 0.6. And then the day before that it was 0.5. And this is the kind of ratcheting that we absolutely love. I really feel like this could be the start of something very nice here. So once we hit a penny, the funny thing that happens with maths, and I'm not a mathematician, so don't judge me here, but see how we're going up like in the order of, say, I don't know, 10% or whatever. But once we hit a penny and we go up in the order of, say, 10%, so we're starting to go 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent. Do you guys remember that with EHEX when that started to happen? When you start going up, and then once you hit a magic number, so say you hit, there's obviously going to be resistance around 10 or 12 cents, and we get rid of all those people. But then once you hit a certain number, you start jumping sometimes by 2 cents, and then you're like, holy hell. That is like absolute hyperbull phase when it's like jumping like that. But
the liquidity gets thinner as you go up, right? So there'll be like less pressure at a certain point. There'll probably be pressure, like you said, at like 10 cents or like those round numbers. But when it breaks through those targets, there's going to be a lot less for like V3 sell walls and that sort of thing. And it will just keep moving.
At least for Hex on Ethereum, it got to 12 cents, and the jump from 12 to 18 cents felt like nothing. Like it was 12 cents and then it was 18 cents, and it was like, holy hell. And then I think 18 cents was a bit of a resistance line. And then after that, I can't really remember, things just exploded and things just got crazy. And then you start seeing all the bull posting. So it's good to be here and to have sort of seen the bear market through, because I think there was a lot of learning that I had to do. And yeah, I mean, it feels like Groundhog Day in a very good way. All right, guys, we are going to wrap this up. So Vibra Lindsay, do you have any closing remarks there?
I'm super excited. I love this time of year. There's a lot of excitement in the air. There's a lot of change coming with like institutional finance. It's like, centralized finance. A lot of things are shifting and they can't stop it forever. So like, let's go. Let's freaking go.
Yeah.
I don't own any. I don't own anything. I own nothing and I'm happy. But, the rest, let's go.
Absolutely. Fast Abdul.
I think now that things are starting to look bullish, it's going to change a lot of things on PulseChain. I think people should start paying attention to the protocols and the tokens that do stuff, because that stuff is going to start being important. For example, check out inkprinter.com, where you can take leverage on your ink, where you can effectively single-side stake your ink. Low and permanent loss yield farming is important right now. When things are going up, you don't want to be left behind. If you don't know what that is, hit me up on Twitter. I'll do an explanation.
Thank you very much. Crypto Stylist.
I'm Crypto Stylist on X and also on YouTube. And I'm just, so happy that I made it, that I'm still here. And congratulations to everybody who's still here. Man, we have been through it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A wild SJ.
Hey, hopefully my connection's all right. It was breaking up a second ago, but I'm super stoked to be here. This is going to be my first bull run. I was born in the bear.
Same.
So it'll be really, I'm going to be watching closely, because I've learned a lot over the last 4 years, seeing people make mistakes and in different ways, right? Like as someone who didn't realize how much influence that she had, like really quick example, I had someone buy a coin that I talked about once. You know what I mean? Like I never expect people to buy things that I talk about, because I don't talk about that stuff much, or often, and I'm not someone that shills or talks about prices or coins. So I really want to be just aware of, the things that I say and what I'm doing and how I'm moving, as the bull run comes to us. And one thing I do want to mention that I'm going to be working on right now is that we're adding a resources tab to the PulseChainTour.com website. And there's going to be one blog list. And then there's going to be, this is something I've wanted to do for a long time. And there was another website account that was doing this, and they're gone now. But I'm going to start listing anyone in the community who offers a product, a service, anything where, like, for example, Lindsay right here, right? Like we'll put Vibra Farm, anywhere you can go within our ecosystem to continue putting the money back into our ecosystem, right? Like if we can provide a service for one another or a product for one another, why wouldn't we, do that to build each other up in that way? So yeah, something exciting to build as we're moving forward for sure.
Oh, thank you. And thanks everyone for being here. Thanks, chat. There's been a lot of comments and really appreciate you guys being here. And Fast Abdul, I saw you had a phone number there that you put up in the background, just in case people need to reach you. So thank you for that. All right, guys, have a good night.
Thank you. I have to run, so I'll see you guys. Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye. Bye.